AITA. Our neighbors' well dried up and we cut them off from using our water. We let our neighbors use our water when their well went dry, but after a week of heavy use and no progress on their part, we told them they had 24 hours to figure it out. They're using a lot for their garden, animals, and big family, plus their illegal roosters are annoying the neighborhood. The mom got upset, and now we feel bad for the kids, but think it was the right decision. We live in a suburban country neighborhood, USA. All the homes are on well septic. There are original 1960s ranchers with a few newer, larger 90s homes sprinkled throughout. We're in a newer 90s house, and the neighbors are in one of the original homes. We each have 2 low-yield wells, and one of theirs has been dried up since before they bought the home. Last week, their good well stopped working, and they asked my wife if they could fill up buckets for their animals, more on this later, and garden. In the vein of being a good neighbor, she naturally said yes. They've had a well company out and have been messing with both their wells on their own, but these past few days, there's been no work being done, and they've provided no update. My wife asked what was up the other day, and they said that they have basically been getting the runaround by various well companies, and they don't have time to pursue this harder. Every day, it's multiple 5-gallon buckets in the morning and evening that they're filling with our hose. Probably 20 to 30 gallons each fill up. It's 2 adults and 8 kids in their home, a large garden, and a large, illegal number of chickens and turkeys. They've clearly brought this on themselves with heavy, irresponsible water use. They have a bunch of roosters that are not legal and are driving the neighborhood crazy. So I've been kind of irritated that we're supporting the obnoxious rooster operation. Also obviously worried the increased use on our aquifer will mess our water flow up. But it's pretty cold to say, hey, you can't fill up your buckets anymore. You're on your own. So we've been wrestling with what to do. Yesterday, they had an older lady walking around their yard yelling and praying for the wells to open up. This was the last straw for us. In my opinion, this is a serious problem that requires a serious, timely solution, and they've got a lady basically doing a rain dance. Last night, my wife told the mom next door that we can't provide water anymore and that we could give them another 24 hours of water use to figure it out. And the mom got upset and walked away from my wife while she was speaking to her, which makes us feel better about our choice. Basically, F them. They're rude and ungrateful. But again, still obviously we feel bad about cutting off a house full of kids from water use. Also, none of the other neighbors are going to help because they're upset about the roosters, so they're on their own now. AITA comments. Commenter. I mean, a lack of running water should absolutely be their top priority, especially given how many living things they have that need it. You have some legitimate concerns and some spurious reasons for doing it, but this is entirely on them. If they can't prioritize the one thing that absolutely everything needs to live and thrive, then that's on them. I'm quite sure they can go buy water at the store, so no one is in mortal danger here. Commenter. If they have a bunch of children in the house and there's no water, shouldn't CPS be making a visit? That would make it more of a priority. Story 2. I don't want to marry my fiancé anymore. I don't know what to do. I, F, 26, have been dating my current fiancé, M, 27, for a little over 7 years now. We are not actually engaged, but claim to be because we have dated longer than what he insisted was the dating phase to see if we could really stay together. 4 years. Anyways, for some time now, I would say about 2 years, things have really taken a turn for the hills, especially since the beginning of this year. We both work and go to school full-time, but I am the only one who does the domestic work, takes care of our dog, etc. I work, go to school, come back home, clean, cook, get his stuff ready, walk, feed, play, train our dog, the whole 9 yards. From time to time, he would help if I reminded him, asked him, or complained enough. This has only begun to get worse as time has passed. I have told him for months on end that I do not feel loved, supported, appreciated, cared for, etc. by him anymore. I try to give everything to him, but there are a lot of times when he only wants to be on his phone, watch TV, or only be half to a third present. For example, he says that he will walk our dog when he gets back from work constantly, but he hasn't for months. He says that he is exhausted and tired from work and school, while saying that he understands where my frustrations are coming from, but still does nothing to elevate the burden. Our intimate life has become obsolete, but he has begun to watch pornography multiple times a week, even though I told him that I consider that cheating and is breaking my boundaries. He told me that he is just going through a hard time and just can't find it in him to be interested in me because it takes too much time, effort, and mental energy from him. I asked if he still found me attractive, and all he said was, yeah, I can still get off, but not like I used to anymore. I suggested couples counseling a few months ago, and even found many that can work in our schedules, but he refuses to look into them or even try to go. He keeps saying that we just have to try harder together, actually communicate better, and compromise a lot more than what we are now. I was sitting on our bed a few days ago while he was having his escapade in the bathroom again, and I asked if I could see myself still marrying him. My automatic answer was no. No, I couldn't, because I couldn't imagine continuing to live like this. But I am grieving for not having a relationship because I feel I would have wasted all of these years on someone that I am in love with, but I am not happy with anymore. I am so miserable, stressed, and exhausted. I want to escape and cry. Update. I don't want to marry my fiancé anymore. I don't know what to do. Update. Hello everyone. I don't know how updates on here work, but I hope I'm doing this right. I'm sorry if it's not right. It has been about a week since I posted, and during that week, unfortunately, I have found out that I am pregnant. My ex-boyfriend saw the tests in the trash and became enraged because he thought I was hiding it from him. I wasn't. I was just in shock because we both used protection. He told me that raising a child together could have saved us if I wasn't such a selfish bitch. He then accused me of cheating because there was no way I could get pregnant by him if I was on birth control. I asked if he was dumb, and that is when things hit the fan. Words were said, hands were thrown, and ultimately my dog bit him, and the police were called. We both gave statements, and they made him leave the apartment. I am lucky to have some friends in the police department who have checked on me every night since then. I also have some friends who are helping me pack and move so he can have the apartment. I am unsure of what to do with this pregnancy, as I have never wanted or had an interest in kids. However, I am thankful that I have friends who will support me no matter what decision I make. I am still in shock at what happened. I have never experienced such fear from my ex-boyfriend as I did in that moment. I don't know how or why things took such a turn for the worse, but they did. I have been thinking and wondering how I have missed the signs and flags for possibly so long. I have even more concerns about my dog. He has never bitten or even tried to bite someone in the 7 years he has been alive, but he did my ex, which brings me even more worry, fear, and anxiety. I have concerns that the county I live in might make me put him down because he is a pit bull mix, but I am hoping with backing from my friends, the police officers of that night, the vet, etc. will help me keep him. I want to say thank you to everyone who replied. I appreciate the support, kindness, and encouragement. I know it should have been an obvious or simple answer thing to do, but that is my own personal ignorance. Thank you. Relevant comments. Commenter: dogs are protective of their pack. Your dog sees you as family and therefore attacked the threat. With the police report, he more than likely will just be quarantined and given back to you. But chances are that may not even happen either. I wouldn't worry about it at all. Commenter: yeah, obviously we can't tell you what to do, but you'd be giving your child an abuser for a father, and you'd be giving an abuser another victim. If you have this baby, and you will be tied to a man who hates you for life. It lasts longer than 18. I have a baby with someone who abused me, and I love being a mom, but my kid's father makes my life hell. Good luck. Commenter: tell him you miscarried. Do not tether yourself to that abusive, selfish a-hole for the rest of your life. Even though a child grows up and you no longer have to see the ex when dropping them off, etc. for visitation, you'll still be connected. I know. I'm divorced with adult kids. Good luck, but I think your life is about to get so much better. Story 3. AITA for staying in a hotel while my friend was trapped overnight inside the airport. My best friend and I, 20F, recently went on a trip to the UK. I actually have a UK passport since my dad is British, but my friend had to get a UK visa. We were supposed to take 2 flights, one that would arrive in France and a connecting flight that would fly to the UK. However, the second flight ended up being cancelled. The next available flight wasn't until 2 p.m. the next day, so we would have to wait around 17 hours. The passengers were allowed to stay in nearby hotels for free. However, this didn't apply to people like my friend, who wasn't legally allowed to leave the airport because she didn't have a visa for Europe. Instead, she had to stay within a specific area of the airport that had these bright ceiling lights that would stay on 24/7. There was construction nearby, so there was this extremely loud drilling noise every so often. All the available seats were taken by other passengers, so my friend had to sleep on the floor. Plus, earlier that day, water got spilled on our phone chargers, and her phone was only on 40%. I had the option to stay with her, but I chose to go to the hotel instead. She was furious with me, accusing me of being a fake friend. She told me she was scared of being alone in a creepy, unknown place and wanted me there to comfort her, and I assured her that I'll be back by the morning. She said I was acting selfish for not even spending one night with her, but I hadn't gotten any sleep in over 24 hours, and I didn't see why both of us had to suffer. AITA. Relevant comments. Commenter: yeah, YTA. That was a really shitty thing to do. On a smaller scale, it reminds me of a friend who told me she wanted me to go to a certain touring Broadway show with her, and how excited she was to see it with me. I couldn't afford the $300 seats she wanted to buy and told her, but said that I could afford the $100 seats about 15 rows back. She just brushed me off and said, well, this is where I'm sitting. She was very surprised, Pikachu, when I told her she would have to enjoy the show alone then. We are not friends anymore. That was 20 years ago. I still keep in touch with her sister, and from what I understand, my ex-friend only has one friend whom she sees maybe once a year. In her sister's words, she's lucky this friend lives far away and only spends 7 days with her a year, or she wouldn't even have that friendship, and has never been able to keep a romantic relationship for more than a few months, and it's all due to that type of selfishness. Consider the fact that what you did was even worse. It wasn't just wanting to sit away from her in a better seat. seat. It was abandoning her in a foreign country where she was scared. Major thing to do. I know you're only 20, so I'm willing to give you a tiny bit of leeway due to that. But please learn now that your whole "why should both of us suffer" attitude will not serve you well in life. You'll lose many more friends than you make. You'll be alienated at work, and you'll find yourself alone more often than not. Selfishness like yours isn't attractive, not even to other selfish people. Commenter, friends in misery cracking jokes at the airport's expense and a shitty night's sleep, but earplugs, I know they sell them there, and long-term jokes about it and a good story to tell, along with solidifying that best friend status in solidarity. Guaranteed. Life is suffering. Then you die, get used to it, lol, and life is always better with good friends. Instead, OP traded one good night's sleep for a close friendship. Whoa. Story 4. AITA for excluding my older sister for having parentification trauma. My F35 younger siblings, F34, M31, F31, M30, were practically raised by our oldest sister, F40. Neither of our parents were there for us, so she had to act like a mother to us despite being a child herself. She never had time for studying, socializing, or hobbies, and both her grades and her mental health were greatly affected. She started working at age 13 and dropped out of school at 16 to work full-time to support us. Due to her childhood, she can't handle being around children at all. They trigger her trauma, and she starts crying, panicking, and having anxiety attacks. We've all tried to be supportive of her. The thing is, between the 5 of us, we have 16 children aged between 7 months and 12 years. We all live in the same town, and we try to spend time with our sister, but we have to look after our kids too. Anytime we invite her to family gatherings, she refuses to come if our kids are around. The thing is, we can't just leave our kids every time she wants to hang out, and we can't ban our own children from family events. She would complain every time we refuse to have a child-free event and say we need to include her more. Eventually, we stopped inviting her to events. My sister was furious with us for excluding her. She called us ungrateful for sacrificing her childhood to raise us. She accused us of abandoning her just like our parents did, and said it wasn't fair for her to be ostracized from such a close-knit family after all that she'd done for us. Of course I'm grateful for what she did, but I can't ignore my own kids. Ada comments, info, would it be possible to organize something once a month, like a lunch or dinner with just the siblings? No spouses, no kids? Y'all meet at a restaurant or go to a movie or something? Obviously, for parents of young children, most events are going to involve those children, but one lunch or dinner per month with no kids seems like a reasonable compromise to include the oldest sister. Additional info. In the past, has anyone tried to put her in charge of the kids at family events? Is she being put in a position where she feels responsible for them? It's super unfortunate that your parents created this situation, and as children, none of you could control that. However, now that you're adults, there are some things you can control. For one, ensuring that if she chooses to attend a family event, she is not, at any time, responsible for the care of the children. 2. If she is able to attend therapy, that might be helpful for her. She couldn't change the situation as a child. B. She can decide how she wants to deal with her childhood trauma as an adult. 3. If she wants to, and only with her consent, you could offer to host smaller gatherings with a small number of the older children at first, and then slowly work towards family events. Older kids are more able to meet their own basic needs, better able to understand that if they do need help, they should ask their parents, not their aunt, etc. Overall, it's a shitty situation, and no one is at fault, but I think there are better options aside from every event includes all the kids, therefore oldest sister can never be part of the family. Commenter, this right here. I don't think it's unreasonable to meet up and bond just as siblings without further people involved, even if they're close family, to appreciate the bond you all have. Info. Has she been in therapy about this? Can she afford it given her assumed lack of degree, etc.? If not, would you and your siblings be willing to pitch in to make family gatherings easier for her with time? If, and only if, she consents. Never push anyone for therapy if they don't want that. It's going to do more harm than good that way. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.